All right, we're live. Over to you, Mr. Rampang.
This is
So
Diaspora Digital Media, DDM. My name is Rang Pam Jr., and on DDM today we're looking at a very simple but very integral question. Fuel subsidy has rocked the town, and things have gone haywire. While the cost of fuel is going high, standard of living is going the opposite direction. How has it impacted on the future of Nigeria? Particularly, how has it impacted on education?
you will be back shortly. It's just a little connection issue. Keep the screen on him so we can take him from where he left off. No problems. When they're talking, keep the screen on them, okay?
Yeah.
So
To set the ball rolling,
keep going.
what? Let's know more about your background, Pastor Nelson. What do you do for a living?
Well, I'm a pastor. I lecture here at the Theological College of Northern Nigeria
Ah,
in North Central Nigeria. I specialize in public theology. It is a theology that interfaces between what is secular and religious. We try to bridge the gap between what we consider as secular and that which is religious, bringing in Christian virtues into that which we consider as secular, that is going into every sphere of this of the society and bringing in Christian. Thank you.
wow, that is
What I do.
interesting.
Thank you.
Theology interfacing with the society,
Yes,
and you are a lecturer.
yes, I am.
He's our man. And your name, sir. And what do you do? Let's know you some more.
Yeah, actually, I work with an NGO. Yeah, that NGO specializes with the secondary school environment where students are actually taught how to go about the life skills, health awareness. Basically, it's all about leadership. So the NGO goes there and ensures that these younger ones are taught how to become leaders in
Both of you are in the education sector.
the
That's a good place to
yeah.
start. Now, let's start with Enema Adejo. Um, on the 20, well, Democracy Day, 29th, Tinubu said, President Tinubu said, no subsidy. And immediately things went high. We have had some sessions of school going, like 2 terms after that. From your opinion, what was the impact, the initial impact?
Generally speaking, the impact is really how do we feel timing
Mm.
at the time that I feel government are coming into putting in some
Can you
budget.
speak a little louder?
Okay,
Yeah.
I believe government is putting in some budgets to to make sure education it's done in most schools. And at the time that government will tell me that they are taking away subsidy, who funds education in secondary schools where it is my specialization? I feel government should continue subsidizing education so that some talent.
So they're in a remote area, and we should be getting our live stream back subsequently. Due to the connection, I think they're not going to be able to get louder than that, so you know. So just let them go on with the stream whenever they're back,
Yes, sir.
please.
What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with him. The thing is, it was ill time. I suppose the government should have put measures in place that would have cushioned the effect of subsidy removal. I expected them to sit down on their table and see what has been done by previous governments and then plan and see how they can be able to bring in programs and policies that can actually affect people positively. But without sitting for a day, he just stands on the podium and declared that subsidy is a thing of the past. And I think it was ill-timed. It was immature at the time. He should have sat down. Besides, the subsidy was programmed to have ended in June. So what happened to the subsidy that had been paid that will take people to the ending of June and all these things put together? So I actually think that the government was insensitive to the plight of the people. They are insensitive to the needs of the people. They are
Absolutely.
insensitive about what would have affected the people positively by taking that decision without actually planning anything that will cushion the effect of that subsidy. Thank you.
Wow, that is quite detailed. Sorry, I'll just sit down here. We're enjoying the fresh air. Now, how has it impacted the lives of students? Let's just start from the running of schools. Has it in any way, Pastor?
Yes, very well. It has impacted the schools. One thing that touches fuel in Nigeria affects every other thing. Yeah, that's the truth. Anything that touches fuel, as far as fuel is concerned in Nigeria, everything is affected. Now, the running of the schools, for instance, schools actually run on some of them on diesels, and then suddenly the prices go up, and then, of course, it affects the cost of running those schools, and it affects even the payment of people. Because today, if you see the way the schools are running, you know that they are struggling. They are really struggling because the fact that the fuel affects them negatively means that they are actually affected by the removal of that subsidy. So I think, yes, schools were affected by the subsidy in no small measure. Thank you.
Um,
Amazing
Anyone
question.
want to add to that?
Yeah, just to add to that, 5 years or 10 years ago, the average son of a man can afford to go for his study. But now you wouldn't want to know how much tuition and the high institution charge for tuition fee. Most universities now charge above 200 and 300 for tuition fee. So what's the
And that is
difference between
1,000 naira.
1,000 naira? 1,000. So what's the difference between private and the government schools? And here you're telling me that they shouldn't be, there's no subsidy. I'm telling you that
Amazing.
if care is not taken, the child of a common man, the child of a common man will lose it, and it will now bring back the old trend of the education, backward in education. So
Hmm.
I feel no matter what, government should be considerate, just like what my co-person said.
Yeah, interestingly. So while we're still talking, somebody just joined us. He's a lecturer with the University of Jos. And I think, hey, why don't you come here? It's just a free discussion on DDM. So you have listened a little bit. How do we go from here? How has it affected? Okay, let me see if I can get Mr. Ageno. Yeah, okay. Let's see. That's great. That's great. Okay. So I think what we'll do is while you answer the next question, then we'll swap seats. In the meantime, I would have to go back to Enema and Pastor. Now, how have how has it affected parents particularly? What is the feedback? I think most of you are parents. Oh, should be. So, Pastor.
Thank you so much. You know, As I said earlier, fuel subsidy affects everything in the nation. Now, the cost of food items in the market has skyrocketed because of the issue of fuel subsidy. And then when you ask the average market woman, they'll tell you that the cost of transportation of those goods and services from the farm or from wherever they're buying it from to the market has actually skyrocketed. So as a parent, it has affected us in no small measure. Now, the money you will use to feed your family in the past 2 years, for instance, what you need to feed your family in a month, like 2 years ago, you'll need like triple or more than four times that amount to be able to cater for the needs of your family today. So it means that the cost of living has actually gone up. the standard of living has actually gone down because the things that we could afford years ago, we cannot afford them today because of the impact of the subsidy. As such, as a parent, it has affected me in no small measure. It has affected me greatly because I cannot afford the things that they actually want because I can only afford what is within my means. Yes, so it has affected me as a parent. Thank you.
That is great. So, right now we have our new guy on the set. Sir, may we know you, your name,
Okay,
doctor?
I am Dr. Otuose Agemo, a plant scientist with the University of Jos.
Oh, that's great. That's great. You're welcome. We initially planned to meet, and you just came and joined us on the way. So that's great. Dr. Chuasi, you have heard us for some time. Some people believe it go better, that it is difficult now, but it's going to be greater. It's going to be better later. What is your take?
Well, so there is this adage that says, if may I say in Hausa,
Very well, very well.
that
It's just a
if
gist.
indomin Juma'a zai kyau daga Laraba ake sani.
Okay.
Eh?
If the Friday is going to be nice,
Exactly.
you will know from the Wednesday.
You know from Wednesday that Friday or weekend will be fine.
We'll be fine.
But the way things are going in Nigeria, the indices, the things or activities, the policies of government has not been encouraging, has not in any way go to show that there are better days ahead.
Mm,
So I, based on what you question you just asked,
yeah,
I think
you go
even
better.
I don't that's what I think we will still have tough time.
Mm,
We will still have tough time. It's particularly based on the recent New Year's speech by the President of the Republic,
uh-huh.
which uh, is in clear contradiction with available statistics.
Okay. You have any example?
Yes, one in particular is when he said there is improvement in
Oh, there is improvement in employment
employment.
in Nigeria, the same one.
And
Okay.
the Bureau for Statistics,
Yeah,
National Bureau for Statistics,
yeah.
clearly shows that the employment rate has declined. So
Mm,
I don't know where he gets it,
improvements from.
statistics. So I don't know. Sometimes our leaders just make statements, but press, I mean, to just suit, make us, make us,
Oh,
or not to react
yeah, just to make us simmer down.
aggressively. That
In fact, on that
so
joint, sir.
I want to believe that
Yes,
I want to believe in clear conscience and truth
yes,
that's based on present events,
yes.
of all of the first of the insecurity that things
Mm,
farmers can only look down. I
very
mean, how
well.
can things be better?
Exactly. That is it. So that is the submission of Dr. Ageno. How can things be better when the statistics are reading differently?
Mm.
Let's come over here. Pastor,
Yes.
Igbo better? Any prospects
Well,
for education, particularly?
well, with the policies of the government at the moment and the realities that we see around us today, except, somebody said that insanity is doing the same thing the same way you've been doing it and then expecting to have a different result. With
Mm,
the way government have been run over time in our nation and with the way they've been enacting policies and with the ways in which they've been running the governance itself,
yeah.
it shows that the ego beta is a mirage. Except we change our attitude, except we change our forms of governance, the way we enact policies and the implementation of those policies,
Yeah.
the tendency is that ego beta will elude us as a nation. Yes, until we change our policy making, until we change our attitude towards our nation as a people, as leaders, as those that enact policies. It's a holistic thing. So if we go better, everything must change. Both the leadership and the followership, we all must change so that we'll get a better nation. But with the way things are going and with our kinds of attitudes and mindsets,
Yeah.
Ego Better is just a story. Yes, thank you.
Ego better
Yes.
if only there's sincerity of purpose.
Yeah.
Okay.
Our leaders need to be very deliberate about making policies that are going to affect the life of the people. You're not going to tell me that you want to take away subsidy and there is no any program to caution the effect. I mean, that is insensitive to the citizen. To ego better
for
if
education.
only we're going to make deliberate policies and we'll back it up with actions. That is the only hope. Besides, anyway, that is the only thing that's keeping us in Nigeria, being hopeful.
All right. Any advice for school proprietors? Because they're in between. The government has made the policies.
Yeah.
It's hard for them to cope. And then the parents don't have money to pay. So they are left between the devil and the Dead Sea. Increase money and send children out of school, or decrease money and go out of business. Any advice? Any one of you can go.
Yeah, well, I think my advice first is to the government. If they can actually come in and help those people owning schools that are not owned by governments, I think it will help. Because if they can at least give them some level of sponsorship, it can help. The fact is the government cannot have all the students being in school in the government. So the same private institutions that are there should be supported by the government. There should be a kind of a package for those people to help them to cushion the effect of this subsidy removal. If you look at it today, the government put in some measures, but it's basically for people who work with the government. A relative recently got an alert of 35,000 that the government is using as a way of to cushion the effect. But for those of us in private institutions, who then gives us those things? So
Oh
if the
my
government
God.
can come in to help, it can actually bring in a better result
You know,
in
just
our
what
nation.
you've just said
Yes,
reminded
sir.
me. They said there's this student loan.
As far as I'm concerned, student loan is more or less a scam. Because if you look at it, how many, I don't know a permanent secretary as I'm seated here,
Yeah.
but that as a student, for you to access those loans, you need a permanent secretary to sign for you. And then the permanent secretary will sign under the condition that if you are unable to pay, if you default, it will be deducted from his salary. I bet you the permanent secretary will not put his neck on the line. His salary is not sufficient for him and talk more of adding to the burdens on him. So I think the student loan is more or less a scam. Maybe they should revisit it and then check it properly and then come up with something that can actually help the populace rather than what they are doing at the moment.
Well, that is something. Dr. Ageno, what is your take? You laughed.
I have to laugh because
What's your
I have
advice?
to laugh because the impact of where subsidy removal so profound. A lot of people are living like the way we survive.
Yeah. Any advice for proprietors of school?
In comparison of schools, um, people have said, people have already given some of my colleagues here have
Yeah.
said a lot of things,
Yeah.
but I want them to understand that parents is in all things, and we are all parents, and these children have one way or the other.
Yeah.
Fine. everything, prices have increased across board
So what should they do?
astronomically.
Yes.
Now, what they should be seen to be doing to me is to be lenient when a parent cannot afford to
Mm.
pay school fees or when the child let them
That
accept the student.
that is a very, very, very strong
Okay?
point. Yeah.
Yes, because some schools, especially private schools,
Yeah.
don't accept students. They don't.
Once you're resuming.
Once you're resuming, you have to settle your school fees.
Mm.
You
Mm.
understand?
Yeah.
Before they accept the students, especially boarding.
Yeah.
I think these students are more, they don't really have
Much
much
problem.
problems. So, to speak.
Mm.
So
Yeah, but they drive them from school too.
they do. They do. At a certain point, they have to drive them.
Mm.
But so the proprietors of schools to also try to liaise with the government. Let them form a body. Because for the government to intervene,
Mm.
they have to form a body. They can't keep going to the
Mm.
government.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
understand? So they have to
Yes.
form a body. I know they have a body at National Association of
Okay.
There's
Yeah.
a yes, I know.
So there's this National Association of Proprietors.
Yes, I
So
think
that
it's
body can
somewhere they can
now move
approach the
forward.
government.
Yes.
If they can keep two government programs like
Mm.
headphone,
Okay.
or they can even uh, assist the government. You know, the Nigerian government needs cajole. Do you understand? Or they can even cajole the government to bring up another savings uh, program
Now
which they can cash into.
Dr. Ageno, you've made very strong points here. They should be lenient. Proprietors can also get the association to cajole, entice the government into bringing in something. Let's have your closing remarks. Generally, the topic was or is subsidy removal. How has it affected education in Nigeria? Your closing
The
remarks,
removal
Dr.
of
Ageno.
subsidy without any doubt, Nigeria, without any, especially with the hype. I mean,
Mhm.
it's a price of.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think all I have to say is there has to be some form of pushing, some form of.
Thank you very much.
There has to
There
be some
has to
form
be some support from the government more than a mirage of student loan and some sincerity. Yes, closing remarks, Pastor Paul, right?
Golfer.
Pastor Golfer.
Well,
Yeah.
to the proprietors, I think you should also look inwards. We should cut out excess spending if we can. I believe that there are things we can do without that are actually taking toll on our finances as school. So maybe we can cut down on some of those expenses as much as possible. Let's be financially prudent.
Mm.
You know, we should have financial prudence and we should be able to manage the scarce resources within our means while we try to improve on our income and also praying and hoping that the government will also look into the issue of the private schools and help them out. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, the athlete here.
Yes, my closing remark
Closing
is,
remarks.
I know, the subsidy saga is here with us now, like the new norm now. Now, proprietors are really, my heart goes out to you people. You guys are struggling. The school business must go, academic must hold. Now, they should be a bit creative in considering some of the plight of some of these parents. How they can initiate payment of school fees by installment, so that those parents are not buoyant can actually come. It's a school fees of 100,000. Maybe before the term runs out, a parent can come and pay once, twice, thrice, and the school fees is
Mm.
Hey,
Especially parents with 4, 5 children in school. Like
at the same
the
time, I'm
university is
telling you,
charging two, three hundred
yes.
thousand.
So payment
Yeah.
by installment should be something that should be a good initiative that should be implemented in schools,
Hmm.
so that more you can catch some of these crimes are not.
Well, the athletes. Thank you for having time to be
Thank you
with
very much. It's my
DDM,
pleasure.
Pastor
Really appreciate
Golfer.
it.
Yes, sir. Thank you for
Thanks.
having
You
us.
guys
Thank you so
allowed me
much.
to catch you
Yes,
up in a single time. And
having me.
Ageno, Dr. Ageno from the University of Jos. Thank you for having the time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is how it has been. Education is the bedrock of every economy. Any economy that is not able to invest in its future has invested to its doom. What do we do? How do we make Nigeria better? As long as concrete steps are not taken to deliberately, I mean, deliberately make life better for our students, for parents to be able to afford education, we are having a real problem. If there are policies on ground, we should make sure those policies are implementable. And, well, we want to join the government in believing that it's going to get better. We want to trust that it is just birth pains. But remember, a woman can die of birth pains during child delivery. That's all we have from DDM. We pray for the best. And thank you for being there. I don't know from the studio, any closing remarks as we wrap up?
Great show. Thank the guys for showing up, and I'm really delighted to have them. Lovely view out there, and to have a broad sense of the views of our local community. But the guys we have here, they're a little bit well to do, and
Yeah,
if they haven't that much of a difficulty, now we ask ourselves, what about those? Go all the way down to the financial ladder. How difficult is it for those people? So this is the question to ask. Thanks a
mm,
lot, my host, and we hope people will tune in for the next show coming up same time next week and tomorrow's program also. Please do tune in for that. I'm going to let you introduce the program for tomorrow before we go out and end the live stream. Thank you very much.
thank you. Well, for tomorrow, we'll be having, thank you very much. That's, of course, Femi from studio in Germany, and it's nice to connect with you. Remember, it's Diaspora Digital Media. And tomorrow we'll be having Sister Faith. She will be talking on celebrity gossip, entertainment gossips around the country. Anything to do with that, if you are into the new Niger swag, then don't miss our broadcast tomorrow. From me here, from Jos Plateau State Studios on a roving report, I'd like to thank my guests once again, Dr. Ageno, Pastor Golfer, and Mr. Adijo for having making time to join us. So you stick with us. We'll catch you up. Don't forget, next week we'll also still be talking
And
on
thanks to
education.
Alex also in Abuja studio.
Alex, yes, 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 and
Yeah.
that reminds
Thank you
me,
very much.
Njoku
It's
is,
a nice show.
oh, you didn't say a word.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah,
nice
yeah. I
having you
enjoyed the
guys
show.
around.
Thank you to our
That,
guests.
thank you so much. All right. So you guys have a very fine weekend. See you guys tomorrow on Diaspora Digital Media. Rank Junior signing off. Thanks.